All right, it's rebuilders.com here at MACNA in sunny San Diego. We're in the Neptune system booth with Terrence Fugazi.
How's it going, man?
Good to see you, Terrence.
Yeah.
Now, historically, Neptune Systems has kind of made a ritual of having kind of a little keynote at the beginning of MACNA where you announce some of your new gear. And Terrence loves he's a showman, and so he likes to save a surprise. And I didn't get a chance to make it, so he's going to tell me about 2 new products that I don't know anything about virtually, just looking at it. So you got a lot of news in your ecosystem right now. You know, you launched the new Apex controller this summer. Mm-hmm. You got the new PMUP.
Yep. The PMUP.
PMUP. Okay. And today you launched a couple new things. So tell me what you got.
Okay. So we got this great control board here. Actually, I got to give a shout out to Russ, who put this together for us. I really do, because it's amazing. I gave him a little sketch and he drew it up, right? And so we got really 2 key products on display here. One is the COR, which is our return pump, right? And the other one is the FMM, the fluid monitoring module, okay? So let's start with the FMM, okay? Since it's right here. On the plumbing you see here, there's 4 different flow sensors that we have. And
viewers, don't be daunted by this, elaborate setup. What we're really talking about here is just these inline flow sensors.
Yes.
You got some big ones here and a couple smaller ones here, right?
That's correct. And the valves and stuff are so it's like an exploratorium for the people coming to the show, so they can see what's going on up on the screen, right?
Okay.
So these flow sensors start at 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 2 inch. Okay. And so the idea behind it is like a 2 inch you would stick on, say, your drain line, right, as opposed to your return line, and measure the flow of your main pump coming through. Whereas the 1/2 inch one might be for your manifolds going to reactors and stuff like that.
The thought of knowing exactly how much effluent is coming out of my calcium reactor with something like this is like a wet dream. Pun sort of intended. And you might think that knowing precisely how much water is going through this or that pipe is an esoteric metric, but I can tell you, having used comparable devices like this, I've been able to dial in the return to my tank to the maximum possible with it still being silent. I know exactly how many more gallons per hour will make it start slurping. And that's just one of the ways.
Right, and you'll know when it gets dirty because it'll start flowing less. On the ones for your reactors, if you're doing biopellets, as they wear down, they'll flow more through it. Or if it gets clogged, it'll flow less. Or with your carbon. So there's a lot of different things that, again, it's like many of our products, we don't even know how people are going to use them until we release them and we see some of the crazy stuff people do with them.
I haven't subscribed to the complete control freak ethos.
Right.
I appreciate several of them, but this is one of them that I think people are going to recognize in the future is really valuable information about your aquarium.
Well, the next thing about the FMM, though, is that rather than having a single-use device, we wanted to create multiple things that people could do with it around water, right? So the next thing is the simplest of one, which is the leak detection. So let's say you only had 2 flow meters, there's 4 ports on there. So you can stick the leak detection probe on one of them. Okay. Right? And then the third type of thing that you can do is an optical sensor for water level. Okay. Same kind of.
So the FMM is a slightly multi-purpose.
Correct.
Very cool.
And I mean, we've made a lot of multi-purpose in it, actually. And there's an ATO kit that we're coming out with. So you'll get the FMM. You'll get the bracket, the magnetic bracket for up to a 1/2 inch acrylic or glass, 2 optical sensors on it, and a mechanical float valve, so if electronics fail on you, you don't have a flood.
So this is a curious float valve you have here. Can you tell me about it? Looks like we have a mechanical sensor and dual optical sensors.
Exactly. So the idea behind it is how can you have as many fail-safes as possible and make it simple for somebody to use. And that's why we put this bracket together. It's got 2 optical sensors, so one's above the other, right? It measures with the one, the second is your backup, sends you an email, stops things from happening.
And the new PMUP is ideally suited as a top-off pump.
Yeah, and this is where it gets great for guys like you, right, who want to have a lot of stuff integrated. There's now an accessory port on here with a power supply port. So you basically plug it all into here, and you've got your auto top-off in one.
Very cool. So fluid metering module
it's not done.
Coming soon. You have to have an Apex system to use it. You have to use Fusion to use it. Wait, what?
No. That's why this one over here, right? This is the fluid. It's actually ringing red right now because I tripped it with the leak detector, but this one's completely standalone.
No.
So you can plug all this stuff in. Yeah, I know it's crazy from Neptune, right?
Now for a while, you've been keeping everything really, really tight. And sometimes I just wanted something to work just over here, not necessarily connected. So you're telling me
to you, Jake.
That's, all right, so this is something that people can get started with independent.
And it's so simple because there's not a button on it. All you do is plug everything into it, put it in your tank at the water level you want, and turn the power on.
Oh man, that's super, super cool. Like even if you have an APAC system, sometimes you want those functions happening, but perhaps in a different part of the room. It's less critical to have them networked. So if this is not tied into Fusion and the Apex, you can tie it in.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But so how does it function without the main head unit?
So what you want on an ATO really is put it at the water level, pump water from here, so it comes with the PMUP, right? We made the PMUP so a 1/4-inch tubing just slides right into the top of it, cinches it down, it's easy. You drop it in a jug just like the one I have down here, you got an ATO.
So the ATO and PMUP together is plug and play?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so what about the fluid metering? How do you get some of that information back?
Well, so on the standalone, the fluid metering, we haven't plugged something into it. We're tinkering with the idea of having just like an audible alarm or something like that if it stops altogether, if you wanted to add one of those in the standalone, but we haven't really decided. But obviously, there's a lot of options that you can have because we've made this product. So even stuff that we haven't quite thought of yet, we've kind of left the door open to plug other things into it.
Very, very cool. And it looks like we're seeing a new version of the COR, slightly new. The COR pump was introduced a couple years ago.
Yes, it's actually last Magna.
Okay, it was just a year ago.
Yeah,
that's
so
right,
I know it seems like forever. But yeah, last Magna we had done a lot of work with it. We weren't liking some of the directions where things were going, sound-wise, and a couple of other things. And about the same time...
And there's one COR pump.
There's actually two.
Two COR pumps, okay.
Yes.
So this is new?
Yes.
All right.
So
COR 1, COR 2?
It's the COR 15 and the COR 20.
Okay, I'm guessing 1,500 gallons per hour, 2,000 gallons per hour?
Exactly.
Oh man, I love intuitive product names. Super important. Very cool. So it looks like we have a interesting pump here with some orange highlights and a standalone controller.
Exactly. So the deal is that the physical nature of the pump is the same for both the 15 and the 20. They're both exactly the same size. The difference is how you connect it and power it. So if for the COR 15, you don't have to have an external power supply. It just connects up to the one link and you're good to go with the little module there.
Very cool.
If you want the extra power or you want to go standalone, you go with the COR 20 and that one gets up to 2,000 gallons per hour.
Very cool.
And super silent. I mean, it's ridiculously quiet, ridiculously
So this
smooth.
is another standalone product.
Correct.
And it will have all kinds of bells and whistles and controllability.
We're not going to do the crazy stuff you have for the closed loop kind of stuff because people generally aren't really using that
Closed
that
loop
much.
are a little bit out of style. If somebody wants to do a closed loop, they'll figure it out.
Right. So it's going to have a feed mode on it. You'll be able to turn the flow up and down. It'll shut itself off if something goes wrong. That's the whole standalone.
So
function.
is this stuff available now?
This stuff is a this year product.
This year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very, very cool.
Absolutely.
I assume you'll have pricing kind of nailed down around then?
Yeah, probably, in a month or two, we'll release some more information.
Very cool.
Yeah, have pricing and all of it.
Well, we're sure to, have that information on Reef Builders when these products become available, pricing, availability, further details and specifications. I know you've been talking a lot today. We still have a lot more talking to do. So thanks a lot for talking to me, Terrence.
Absolutely.
Very excited about this new gear.
Yep.